Alright, so we have new parts, and now we're back to this bad boy, because cylinder 4, which the piston is currently inside, that bad boy went out, and talked to the customer because there's a dent, I forgot where it says, like right here. It is way too much to hone out, so we just went ahead and just bought a new block and also new pistons because I could not find the matching balance, I'm going to say balance code. So in here, these are 0017-1s, not 3s. 3s are these new ones right here that I got. But got them off of eBay, pretty good price for all 4 of them. They look pretty good, no wear on the sides. Top looks pretty good, rings look pretty good, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna check all that. But we went ahead and got a new block, or the upper block or head, not head, but upper block, however you want to say it. So I'm going to basically just start tearing this guy down, and only thing we're going to use from here is obviously the transmission, the crank bearings, and the main bearings, because it did not come on the block, and then the main caps, which the block doesn't have either. So hopefully we shouldn't have to buy anything else from, or like for the bearings. Hopefully everything's all spick and span and within tolerance. I've got our service manual for this bike, so we're just going to basically grab everything from here and throw it into there, essentially. So, and then we'll put everything back together, just essentially just a full rebuild. But walls look good on there. We'll clean everything up, get them all nice and spiffy. Same with these pistons. I have them just laid over here lightly, with all the more critical parts. But basically what we're going to do, we're going to flip the engine over, start pulling everything out, get everything disconnected, and then we will go from there. So basically what we're going to do first is we're going to pull the rest of the, I'm sorry, not going to do that first. We're going to get this time and chain stuff off. Went in and grabbed a set of pliers. Right here on this this guide, if you're going to have a little pin, like a little dowel pin, you just pull out. When you pull it out, this guide comes out with it. So we want to, that guy's a little broke, so we may have to replace that. But we'll see how the customer wants on that. Like I said, he's just doing kind of a budget rebuild. Nothing crazy. The only thing that is obviously annoying is to stuff like that. You got that one. Let me pull this guy out. You got that one guy that the freaking dial pin's down here in the bottom, but you can get to it through an access point. So, which isn't too bad. Don't mind the fan, pretty hot. So we're going to grab common chain, pull it off. Then that's everything on this side. These basically transmission are part of the transmission, not down there, just up here. These bearings they're essentially pressed in, so we're going to have to pull them out all nice and even. But we'll get to that last when I can actually flip the block upside down and get to it, because then we have to pull these rod caps. And then we'll push all the rods out, and then we can pull the crank out, which, come to look at it, this crank is already falling out. I see that. Well, there was no crank caps. Alright, well, that's nice to know that everything's been pressing on that crank. So, let's go ahead and get these guys out. Luckily, oh, nope, I thought they were loose. So, have to be easy to not damage any of these journals. So, just gonna grab these guys. They look like, I think they're 12s. So we'll go and I might have one right here. Nope, we need to take. Let's just grab that. Alright, so went ahead and got this guy broke loose, and then pulled them off. I'm hoping nothing is damaged on this, because you can see that with those main caps are gone, this is not looking the best. Like this, right on the end of that rod, and got the rod out. Those caps. Alright, so we got it. I had to tap it very, very, very lightly with that guy right there. And now we need to inspect this crank, make sure everything looks good, because of it sitting on these edges here, that's not good at all. So we'll go through and look at every single part here, and we will check, make sure everything's all within spec. This is the main part we're trying to save, is this crank. So if this crank is bad, then we're freaking screwed. Any little indication that there's something wrong, we'll look at it. Which also, a crank is stupid strong, but we always want to triple check, make sure everything looks good. And then we'll take a caliper and a mic to this thing just to be extra careful, because it is going back into another block. But so we'll check everything, which from the eye everything looks good. Nothing super crazy, nothing noticeable. Any little thing that we think is a little dent is not, which is good. Now the biggest worry is, can we reuse these bearings? They look okay, but the slightest little indent is what will change our minds from these. Also, I believe there's the main caps somewhere in these bags, and we'll look for them because we need them. The pistons are loose. We'll go ahead and push them out, get them out of this block. Actually, no, well, we don't even really need, pistons can stay in here. We need to get the starter out, which some bolts over here, and then transmission part. But what we're working on now is just the top end, so we need to transfer this to that new block. This can hold off, but we need to get these main bearings out, and then we can start pulling from there. But to pull out these bearings, just get you a little pick and be very, very easy, because these are aluminum, so we want to make sure we save every bit of it. But just very on these little holes right here, get some in there and pry them up. Very nice and easy, and always note exactly where they went. Lay them out in order, and then you're going to put them back in the same way you took them out, but on the new thing. And then we'll see if these, if these will work. There's a little, a little bit of wear on these things. Nothing crazy. Alright, so everything I just said about the main bearing, or the main caps, don't listen to that. It has been a long day. I'm sorry. I looked down to look for them. They're part of the lower block, so they're right here. We are missing one bearing though, so it could be floating around there, or worst case I gotta order a set. But no, so at least we can get that in. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna clean everything up and then kind of re-oil it. I use carb cleaner. It's good degreaser. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna degrease all these ports and kind of just everything right here. We're gonna do the same for the crank, and then these bearings, and we're gonna kind of just re-oil them. Because we want to make sure you get out of it. So just kind of hit it with some carb cleaner. Oh. This is the new block. Alright, so I went in and just cleaned these off, wiped them down. And these are your main bearings. Let's set them in. Make sure they're lined nice and straight. Pop them down. And make sure they lock in or pop in this little hole right here. You'll be good to go. So we're gonna do this for all of them, and then like I said, we'll come back and re-oil everything. Make sure everything's all nice and clean, and it has no gunk to grab or anything like that. Boom. Pop it in. Good to go. The same for these others. Alright, so we're going to basically do the same thing for the crank. I'm going to just wipe it down. I'm not going to spray anything on it, because when we set it in, it needs to be lightly oiled up. So we'll put either PB or WD on it. Just have a light oil coating. You can use assembly lube or like some really thick oil, whatever you got available. Let's go over here and just clean all surfaces of these crank journals and flip it over and get the other side for the rods. I'll make sure this thing is free of any debris. It's been sitting, so it's kind of just waiting on parts. Kind of just me building stuff up. But yep, this guy. She's clean. That's good. So now what we'll do is pick it up and mock everything back up. Oh, sorry. Let me get something to coat that. Get some PB. Spray it on there. And on these mains. Now, pick it up and we'll set it on there. Nice and easy, make sure not to grab anything. There you go. Alright, cool beans. I'm spinning a little bit just to kind of get that oil coated around it. Alright, so what I've done, pull the crank back out. I'm going to dab this clean. I'm going to put some oil on it. So the PB, what that does is that'll grab kind of all the little loose stuff and kind of just grab it and pull it out before we put any oil on it. But I just got just standard motorcycle oil, nothing crazy. Pour right here in the cap. What we're going to do, I'm going to coat this with a good coat of engine oil. Alright, there you go. And then, grab these. Lay it back down. I'm going to do a nice good little coating again. Get these guys to sit down properly. Yep, there we go. Good spin. There we go. And same thing. Here on journals, just a good little oil coating. Nothing crazy. Alright. Now, give it a little spin. Should feel loose, or loose-ish. I mean, it's gonna feel loose because there's no, there's no cap on it. But what we're gonna do that, make sure everything's good to go. Alright, now we're gonna check our pistons, which we should have probably started with that. With the rings, make sure those pistons are gonna fit good in there. So we should have probably started with that. So, alright, so what we're gonna do is turn that off. Is that this is the service manual for this engine. We're looking at piston ring end gap. We got top on our second. So I went in and grabbed one of the pistons. I dedicated it to piston 4. And then what we're going to do is I took the top ring out and the second ring, laid them out. That's how we're going to orientate them. So our top ring, this guy right here, we want to make sure that it is either 0.0059 to 0.0118 inches, that gap right there. So that gap right there needs to be within that tolerance. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab this is 0.006. And off, we're going to slide it right there in the edge. We want to make sure it slides in nice and clean. It slides in. Then we need to go up and see what size we end up on. Looks that feels already pretty tight, so it may end on a 0.07. And make sure they're nice and straight again. And you don't want to slide down because then you're going to move it, so you want to go on the edge and slide it in. So good there. Just rinse and repeat. You want to make sure everything's all within tolerance. So we'll get that, and same for the bottom one. Your bottom one is going to be 0.0118 to 0.0118 or 0.0118 to 0.0177. So we have to get that. And then the service limit is over here, which you can and can't do for your absolute max. So that's what we'll do, is we will just kind of go through it and check on that, and then I will get to you whenever I get all these sorted out. And I thought I'll also add, when you pull these off, you're going to pull the edge of the ring, pull it to the edge, don't stretch it, but pull it, just get it out, pull it to the edge, and then you want to basically, you'll have it like this, and you'll want to pull it over, up, around, and you want your ring to do this and pop out. And also for the actual putting it into the cylinder to test it, kind of the same thing. Get one edge, compress it a little bit, make sure it's straight. And I always get the piston without both rings, just the oil ring, just so you have a stopping point. Stick it on, press it down until it's nice and even. Then you pull it straight out, and that right there is going to be your check right there. So just thought I'd do that and point that out. Thought I'd do this real quick. So I'm going to put the bottom one on. These are good and within spec on cylinder 4, so we're good to go. To put them back on, get your ring, get the edge of it, basically the same way you take it off. And you want to roll it. Basically just roll it around in the edge. Pick the edge up, try not to stretch anything or force anything. Let it roll. And you just want to let this guy just kind of just drop into its slot. And then we'll be good to go on that. So now we know cylinder 4 is good to go. Now we just got to just compress it, stick it down there, and then we'll be good to go. So now I'm going to do cylinder 3, 2, and 1. Alright, so my glasses died in the process of that, so I went ahead and pulled it out a little bit. Now we're going to just kind of recinch this back on top of everything, just like that. And then we're going to compress it down, and then we're going to do that real quick. Alright, so now we're re-cinched down. Pop this guy down. Make sure points are good. Yep. And then we just got to do one more little click. And then just cinch it down. One more click, and we're good to go. There we go. Then the piston has dropped in, so we're good to go. Now we're happy. Good old little mow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then now it's to, get everything turned around, flipped over, get the crank in there, and then we're going to our plastic gauges and check all of our specs to make sure we're in tolerance. Make sure first we're going to check and see the crank is good, and once the crank is good, then we can check the rods, or we can go ahead and check the rods while we're at it. Going to get everything torqued down and be good to go, but as you can see, it's a little dark out here, so I think we're going to call it a night and then work on this tomorrow for a part 3. So we should be good to go, so I will catch you later.